when you look at the mandatory bind-over arguments, I understand that the Supreme Court has accepted Porterman for review, and we don't know what they're going to do with that. We don't know what that means. And everything about them accepting that case for review is just speculation. I think we have to look at what the law is right now, not what might happen. And what the law is right now, mandatory juvenile bind-over in aggravated homicide cases is constitutional. The Kent arguments have been rejected by this court. Number one, there is a waiver. The guilty plea waived the constitutional attack on mandatory bind-over proceedings. That's a threshold issue. It's our position that that guilty plea eliminated that argument, and we don't even get into these Kent versus U.S. and all these other arguments. But putting that aside, okay, let's say it wasn't waived. It was waived, but let's say it wasn't. This court in State versus Lee has already rejected the same constitutional attacks on the mandatory bind-over procedure and has upheld the process. And this court's already rejected the same arguments that we should apply Kent versus U.S. and apply all those factors to the mandatory bind-over proceedings. When you look at mandatory bind-over for 16 and 17-year-olds, the legislature has made a statement. And the statement is that for the most serious crimes, juveniles should be treated as adults. If you're 16, if you're 17, and you commit an aggravated homicide, commit an aggravated murder, you should be treated as an adult. The legislature has made it very clear, we're not just going to let a 17-year-old who shoots somebody in the head out of DYS when they turn 21. That's a statement by the legislature. The constitutional arguments have been rejected, and no matter what case the Supreme Court accepts for review, as we stand here right now, mandatory bind-over should be upheld by this court. There was due process here. There was a competency evaluation in juvenile court in this case. There was a probable cause hearing. There are constitutional protections in the mandatory bind-over proceeding. Those were done here. That proceeding, I believe, was rock solid.